Breaking news, exciting news. Congress finally reaches deal on COVID-19 relief with stimulus checks and jobless benefits. So if all goes according to plan, this deal would end a half-a-year stalemate between congressional leaders and President Donald Trump's administration. Finally, they have acted for the Americans. Top lawmakers finally reached a deal for more than $900 billion in COVID-19 relief. I'm going to tell you what it means for drivers or unemployed, right? Including another round of stimulus checks for most Americans and an additional $300 per week for people receiving unemployment benefits. Let me repeat that. Including another round of stimulus checks for most Americans and an additional $300 per week for people receiving unemployment benefits. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I read this before, I'm sure it'll be here in the article somewhere, is that those $300 are valid for 11 weeks. So give or take, you're talking $300 per week, $1,200 a month. That covers 4 weeks. It's 11 weeks. So you're looking at about, $3,300 additional in the next 2.5 months. Nifty 50 is in the house. He's the first one. He says, if we win in GA, we get bigger checks and better benefits. So I plead that you do. Please and thank you. Yeah. Well, listen, if that's you brought up a good point. If in Georgia they get the 2 Senate seats, then the Democrats control the House and the Senate, and then you'll probably be able to push another stimulus check through. If Mitch McConnell keeps his position, this is the problem guy. I see Mitch as the obstructionist. I mean, this guy only cozies up to big business, right? So you're right when saying that. Marco DeLugo's in the house, Kevin Rand's in the house, Gary George is in the house. Elias, I'm going to help Elias win his position for mayor in Compton next year. We've got to get together and strategize that and get social media on the road. Now, if all goes according to plan, the deal would end a half-year stalemate between congressional leaders and President Donald Trump's administration over how to deliver financial relief to Americans on top of a $1.4 trillion omnibus spending bill that will serve as the vehicle for the coronavirus package. So the good news is here, including another round of stimulus checks for most Americans and an additional $300 per week for people receiving unemployment benefits. Bit of a lifeline. Robert Rosenberg's in the house. What about PUA? It ends PUA ends December the 26th, correct. But these weekly checks that we were getting up to, I don't know, when did they end? They sort of ended in, I want to say in October, when the states ran out of the payments, right? They only had a certain amount of weeks additional on top of what we were receiving before. That picks up again, and you're talking about $300 per week for another 11 weeks. It took nearly 5 months for Congress to renew additional unemployment benefits after an extra $600 a week expired at the end of July. I think it was end of July. After an extra $600 a week expired at the end of July, and the logjam broke only after a bipartisan group of moderate senators agreed on a stimulus package of their own in early December. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, along with Minority Leaders Senator Chuck Schumer and Representative Kevin McCarthy, worked out the final deal using the bipartisan legislation as a framework late Sunday night, today. Love and lights in the house. It's a skinny bill, says Gary Georges. Absolutely right. The deal came together after negotiators stumbled Friday over Republican insistence that the Federal Reserve be disallowed from creating any lending programs similar to ones created under the CARES Act. They ultimately compromised on language that would disallow exact replacements of those programs, which had been backed with a whopping 454 billion, but barely used. The $600 per person check, according to two sources familiar with the talks, is roughly half the size of what was sent out over the summer, but will still be welcome news to most Americans. So you got that 1,200 check. Remember that stimulus check? Now we're talking $600. Mike B, if PUA ends on December 26, will independent contractors still qualify? Yes, correct. You get the additional $300 per week. I believe it's for a total of 11 weeks. Trump tweeted in the middle of the night, obviously he loves tweeting in the middle of the night, over the weekend, that he thought Congress should increase the amount of the checks. I'm all for that. Something I can actually agree with him on. Something his own personal aides have reportedly been advising him against. Trump reportedly wanted direct payments of up to $2,000 per person, but is okay with the final number. The final deal would phase out the checks for those making above $75,000. We have the rideshare hustle in the house. I welcome you. UI is extended for 11 weeks. Yeah, I just mentioned that. Democrats made concessions over unemployment benefits to secure the checks, while the original gang of moderate senators proposed reauthorizing federal programs for gig workers and the long-term jobless for 4 months. The new agreement would continue federal programs for unemployed Americans, there it is, for just 11 weeks. A source familiar with the talk said, to offset the cost of another round of direct payments. So if we factor in those 11 weeks, we should get into the Biden presidency, and mark my words, if they take those 2 seats in Georgia and keep the House and keep the Senate, they will pass a larger bill. Biden will sign off on it. It's just this fight and this tangling between Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell being very favorable to the corporations, the big boys. We need to get those monies through. And for everyone's sake, right? If you are smart in Georgia, you would make sure that those 2 people get in. And then it's pretty much a slam dunk for additional stimulus. The final deal would give $300 per week in federal unemployment insurance to laid-off workers on top of their state benefits for 11 weeks. Half of the $600 benefit Congress passed last spring, but still larger than any boost the program has seen in previous years. Democrats also won an extra 11 weeks of compensation for people. It's pretty cool that they fought for that. Democrats also won an extra 11 weeks of compensation for people who have been unemployed for so long they've run out of both state and federal benefits, as well as language easing repayment requirements for workers who were accidentally overpaid by a state workforce agency. But Republicans won a gradual phase down of federal programs. Workers won't be able to start a new federal claim after March the 14th, but will be allowed to continue receiving benefits until April the 5th if they started a claim before then. A gradual end to federal benefits would mean there would be less of a cliff where millions of people get cut off at once, pressuring Congress to act. Elias says, wow, just 11 weeks. Scott Tucker's in the house. Gary Georgia said they need to start working on another bill for springtime after the first of the new year. It takes that long for Congress to get it done. Very true. Very, very true. So another key to the final bill was what wasn't in it, namely a liability shield for businesses or aid to state and local governments. The liability shield was one of the more poisonous proposals. McConnell had sought to ban personal injury lawsuits related to coronavirus exposure for years to come. Ultimately, McConnell agreed to drop his insistence on the liability provisions if Democrats dropped $160 billion in additional state and local aid, badly needed funds to help those governments make up for budget shortfalls caused by the pandemic-related recession. It's true. Elias says, I hope so, because 11 weeks is not enough since government is predicting COVID-19 will linger way into 2021. Very true. That decision allowed Democrats and Republicans to move forward with the bill, but it also may set up Democrats to secure another economic, there we go. That's what I was just talking about. That decision allowed Democrats and Republicans to move forward with the bill, but it also may set up Democrats to secure another economic stimulus package once President-elect Joe Biden is sworn into office. And it's going to make his job much, much easier if the Democrats pick up those 2 Senate seats in Georgia. Then it's a slam dunk. If you have the Congress, if you have the Senate, and you have a Democratic president, they will pass another big stimulus bill. So my friends in Georgia, you pretty much have the power to determine if we get another big stimulus check. Just saying. With state governments facing layoffs, governors may go to their congressional delegations and push for funds, which could create bipartisan support for aid in yet another relief measure. A stimulus that ignores cities and states is a stimulus that ignores the pain of the working class, who depend more than ever on the services we provide. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio spokesman Bill Neidhart told HuffPost in a statement last week. And for some Democrats in Congress, the package doesn't do enough. For one, it lacks that state and local funding now. For another, the stimulus checks are far less than what Democrats were seeking, and the additional unemployment benefits are half of what out-of-work job seekers were getting from April to August. Very true. So that being said, I believe next year they will definitely be pushing for a far, far bigger relief package. A number of members in the Congressional Progressive Caucus were very critical of negotiations last week. Representative Rashida Tlaib said she still wanted the bill to do more, perhaps $1,200 stimulus checks or even $2,000 checks, as progressives have argued for, and she said she would vote with the CPC. Last week, Representative Ro Khanna, Democrat California, said the same thing, adding that people needed more than $600 checks and that the time period for an additional $300 in unemployment benefits had been shrunk by a month in final negotiations. So first they were talking 15 weeks, and then they shrunk it down by a full month, 4 weeks, down to 11 weeks, right? So that was reduced. If you take another additional 4 times 300, would have been another $1,200. That would have been great, an additional month. Republicans shot that down, and now they both came to an agreement that it'll be 11 weeks times $300. Additional $300 in unemployment benefits had been shrunk by a month in final negotiations. The bipartisan deal would have provided an additional 16 weeks of benefits, but the legislation that Pelosi and McConnell agreed to would only do 12 weeks. Khanna, who pushed for Pelosi to take the $1.8 trillion deal, the White House offered just before the election, once again noted that this legislation was worse than the previous offer, and he refuted the argument that Pelosi never had a true offer because McConnell was still insisting on his liability shield. His liability shield was basically McConnell saying, no, I want to protect the corporations, right? That's where McConnell is the guy, the senator that gets the most money from corporations to protect corporations. So McConnell doesn't have your back. McConnell doesn't have the American backs. He has corporate America's back, and that's a fact, folks. Gary Georgia said there are new strain of COVID-19 in the UK. I heard that. They have vaccinated 100,000 people to date in England, but this new strain is apparently running rampant. 75% more contagious than what's out there now. Yikes. That is a big yikes. Y-I-K-E-S. Yikes. If McConnell refused to give up on the liability protections, even after Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin had reached an agreement, Khanna said it would have clearly identified McConnell as the bloc. and then it would have depended on how much pressure Trump was willing to put on him. Even Senator Bernie Sanders, Vermont, who partnered with conservative Senator Josh Hawley to lobby for the inclusion of stimulus checks in the final deal, said the compromise was insufficient. Some other Democrats were upset about the deal's arbitrary expirations for certain programs that help struggling Americans. Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, the top Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee, said in a statement Wednesday that there was no reason whatsoever to pay for relief checks by cutting the incomes of jobless workers. I would agree with that. We obviously wouldn't set an arbitrary date to cut off access to the vaccine while COVID-19 is still raging, so why does Mitch McConnell get to sabotage the economic recovery by cutting support for working people and setting arbitrary expirations? Democrats did secure $25 billion to establish a new program to provide emergency rental assistance that Americans can use to pay past due rent and other housing expenses. And Democrats got money to help schools, money for vaccine distribution, great, and funds for struggling sectors of the economy, including transportation and the United States Postal Service. Republicans are also getting more than $300 billion to help small businesses, with $257 billion going to the Paycheck Protection Program, which loans money to businesses to prevent greater job losses. Still, the deal is likely to be too much for some Republicans. Some conservatives were already telling Huffington Post before the deal was finalized that they very likely vote no. My strong inclination is I'm going to be a no. Representative Jim Jordan, I think he's a complete dick, Republican of Ohio. I have no time for Jim Jordan. I just think he's a fucking fucktard. Said Wednesday night, the bill could still easily pass both chambers, even with opposition from the far left and far right of both parties, as long as leaders can actually finish the deal. Yeah, Joey Valenzuela says, do you have an update with the Potter Handy LLP? Thanks. So they have some crucial hearings in January, at the end of January. And it is my understanding that we should start seeing some movement in February 2021 on those big lawsuits. That's what I've been told from the main guys at Potter Handy. So lawmakers passed an emergency short-term funding bill Friday to carry them over the weekend and avert a shutdown in order to continue negotiations, and are set to pass another short-term spending bill Sunday night in order to vote on the final package Monday. The goal has been to pass some kind of relief package before the end of the year. Federal programs for unemployed Americans expire at the end of the month, risking stranding 12 million job seekers. So there we have it. So a little light on the horizon, folks. Not the best deal. A little bit of light. Quick shout out to my sponsor, Cover, K-O-V-E-R. The link below will get you 1 month free gig protection plan, 24/7 health service, sick leave, automatic mileage tracking, paid time off, legal protection. If you are an active driver and you get deactivated, then the legal arm, which is legal rideshare, kicks in and gets you reactivated. They'll send out the legal letters. Now, legal rideshare also handles injury cases in case you were injured on the job, in case your riders were injured, in case you have property damage to your car, wage losses. They will handle the entire insurance process for you. Let's see, who else do we have in here? We've got 28 people in the room. Hit those thumbs up. Let's hope they get all the signatures tonight. Monday, Senate can sign off, and then it goes to the president for final signature, and then the checks can start coming out. $600 stimulus checks and at least $300 each week into your account for another 11 weeks. How's it, Professor Ukaman in the house? Good to see you, Ukaman. I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you and your family are doing great, my friend. How are you keeping? Good to see your name pop up here. Nifty 50 says, fork, F-A-W-K, Trump. He never negotiated. Mark Biss in London says, Potter Handy keeps on contacting me, and each time I have to tell them I am in the Boston market. I've been in 4 successful class action lawsuits. Fantastic. Now, Potter Handy is packaging up a national lawsuit. I will probably be making a video about that in the next 2 weeks. Those are drivers that have crossed state lines. Obviously, different rules and regulations apply there, but apparently then you can go after them through the court system, through Superior Court. You don't have to go through arbitration, which means the settle amounts are going to be way, way higher. Romeo Bukala and the world, 600 is better than nothing. I'll take the $600. Show me the money. 6 blue $100 notes. Show me the money. And on tomorrow, final day. Oh, by the way, the Curial user partner apps are ready to download. I will also leave that link. Those ones, finally, I'm sure you guys, anybody that signed up at Curial, got the email. The apps are now down, ready to download. Curial deliveries, right? Delivery and errands, as the app calls itself, Curial. So if you want to go onto the platform and download it, please do that. Then I'm pretty much 24 hours away. I will be, I'm gonna be fixing up one of these, the old Plymouth. I picked that up on Tuesday, like the Plymouth brain freeze Valiant Duster, the Demon version V8. Pick that up on Tuesday. That beauty. Got a hell of a deal on that, so I'll show you the progress on that. And then I'm about to take her in for the final step, upholstery. Final step. Final step, upholstery for this car. And that car is powered with about 4,000 watts of sound. So it runs on sound. Interior, we finished it. New windows, everything done. Last step, just the headliner. And then off she goes. I'm going to take her for a nice run on the Pacific Coast highway, and super, super excited about the new muscle car that I pick up on Tuesday. Not available for Android Curial Partners app. Okay, so not for the Android, but for the iOS, right? For the Apple. The Android will come out within the next 1 or 2 weeks. They have assured me that both apps will be ready by the end of the year, and I believe them. So far, they've been on target with everything that they've said. Oh, Scott Tucker has the details on that suit, yes. Scott Tucker and Robin Reneth, I think, are pretty instrumental in pushing that forward. Congratulations to you guys, because you're going to be helping a lot of drivers out with this new lawsuit. I just say pound them, go after them, pound them, pound them, pound them, pound them, pound them. And then also big announcements. The local driver co-op in January, we're going to be doing a lot of campaigns. LA, New York, San Francisco, Canada, a lot of media days, a lot of press releases, and we'll be doing the beta soft launch, the beta version soft launch at the end of January 2021. And in order for us to be able to switch the real version on, to move it out of beta, we need about 8,000 drivers. So good stuff happening in 2021. Yes, we are the spearhead. I love it. Scott Tucker and Robin Reneth, who's not with us here today, but absolutely love her. She's a remarkable person. She's been doing so much for drivers. God bless her. And Scott Tucker as well. They are spearheading this suit with Potter Handy. Nice. Another thorn in Uber's foot. Another thorn in Lyft's foot. Now, that sad news, that very, very sad news I reported this morning in the video, breaks my heart. Back to back, literally on the same day. One Uber driver shot 60 times, dead. Another driver picks up in Washington, Issachar, I think it was, picked up a rider who had created an account with a new email 15 minutes before he requested his first trip. And him and this girl literally stabbed him in the neck and back. What? WTF? You create an account 15 minutes before you take that first ride. You get into that car. What triggers you to stab a driver? They're in the backseat, guy and a girl, both $2 million bail, murder charges, and the guy had an accident, obviously, but 100 yards later, because they're stabbing him in the back, he drives, boom, crashes, cops find him dead. They trace it back and they find out who it was, these two guys, guy and a girl. Now, shocking news for their family, shocking news. But those type of stories don't make Dara or Jim Logan or John Zimmer look great. They bring up the same topic, safety, security, time and time again. We got to keep on pushing. We got to keep on exposing those stories. We got to keep on tweeting, attaching Dara, saying, Dara, in fact, that's what I'm going to do with that tweet. I'm going to attach Dara and say, Dara, what the fuck are you doing about this? Right? What are you doing about this? So why don't I just take this? This is how I do it. I'll do it right now. Take the story. I'll go to my Twitter account, tweet. I'm going to attach the arsehole, which is Dara, at Dara Khosrowshahi. There he is. It's at DKHOS, at DKHOS. And I'm going to write, WTF are you doing about this? Blood on your hands, Dara. Get your safety and security issues under control in 2021. Drivers should not be shot and stabbed by criminals. Hashtag Uber. Attach the story to it. Maybe you guys can retweet that as soon as I'm done. Boom. Drop that in there. There it is. And Dara, you have a tweet coming right now, which is not going to make you look that great. And again, what the fuck you doing about this, dude? Right? Running background checks on drivers only costs you a few dollars. What stops you from running a quick background check on a rider. And those riders who know that they have criminal records, they won't even come on the platform. They don't want to be embarrassed and get declined because they know that they wouldn't pass in the first place. That's how you get rid of the riffraff, right? Let them know that if you want to use those privileges, Uber and Lyft, you have to be willing to do a background check. You had a killer in the car stabbing a driver multiple times in the back and the neck. Nobody wants to end up like this, Dara. Nobody wants to end up like this, John, for a $2, $3, $4, $5 trip to pay your salaries. It's wrong, my friends. It's wrong. Got to keep on pushing. And the way we do that is like right now. I'm tweeting. So this asshole, I'm attaching his name. And what I could also do here is I could go into one of my many Facebook accounts. Let me use one of them. Deborah Marshall, first-time viewer, California. We welcome you. What part of California? Palm Springs, Monterey, Sacramento, San Jose, San Francisco, Orange County, San Diego, Los Angeles, Ventura, Santa Barbara. Where are you, Deborah? Where are you hiding, dear? So there we go. I'm in my Facebook account. Boom. I want to double up. Create another post exposing these people. What are you going to do about safety and security? In fact, so these are, I'll show you what I do if I think I've got a good story and I want to get under their skin. Obviously, I appreciate it if people circulate the story in their Facebook groups, but I have joined probably 30, 40 Facebook groups, right? If I think I have a good story, like on this one about security and safety, I go through all of these Facebook groups, made a long list. I mean, part of all of these groups, right? There it is. Let me just highlight it there. Facebook groups for posting. That's what I call it. And I go through there. Boom, 318 people. Boom, 5,300 people. Boom, 28,000 people. Boom, 4,200 people. Boom, San Francisco, 1,200 people. 985 people. 2,600 people. All members in these Facebook groups, right? And on and on and on and on. And I'll drop this story so that it really gets circulated, and it really has an impact, folks. It's the only way. They hate negative exposure. You can do it on Twitter. You can do it on Facebook, beautifully with all of those Facebook groups, and you can make a ton of noise. I ran this one, let's see, a few hours ago, maybe 3 hours ago, and it got, calling them out by name, right? How many views did this one get? Almost 600 in less than 3 hours. So this is how we get to them. This is how we get the story. It is very embarrassing. Well, at least I think it's embarrassing to them if people get shot and stabbed. Oh my God, another story? Yeah, another story where you failed to do something. Another story where you did not act. Another story where you did not have your security efforts in place. Another story where you did not put enough money into safety, right? And another driver has to die, or another rider on your platform. What are you doing about it, Darren? New York's in the house. It's up to you, New York. New York. First time, Chicago, Illinois. Good. We got a lot of first timers here. Internal Methods. I like that. Internal Methods and Jean Doe. We welcome you. Welcome Chicago, Chi-Town, and we welcome the NYC. And we have another lady over Hemet, California. There we go. I was just wondering which part of California. Hemet, California. I know Hemet. Some good off-roading areas out there. Been out there several times. So hit the like button. The more likes we get, the more we get good rankings on YouTube. The more people see the story, the more we can shine the light on that cockroach Dara and John Zimmer for doing nothing, for failing drivers again and again and again. So please, let's help us get a little bit of momentum behind this. Now, the actual story that I was running, a quick recap before I carry on with my evening. Still got a few presents to wrap. Congress finally reaches a deal on COVID-19 relief with stimulus checks, $600 stimulus check. Expect that in the near future. Okay, it's not the $200. Sorry, it's not the $1,200. It's $600. And then those weekly payments that ended in July, well, guess what? They kick in again. $300 a week, not $600, but $300 a week. And initially, Democrats were pushing for 16 weeks. They settled on 11 weeks. So 11 times 300, you are talking almost 3 months. You can expect another $3,300. Throw in another $600 stimulus check. Let's be realistic. Within the next 3 months, you should be counting on almost $4,000, $3,900. Hopefully, that takes away a little bit of the pain. A little bit of the pain. Thank you, Internal Methods. I appreciate you. I hope everyone is getting ready for Christmas, that you've gone out and done your Christmas shopping. From my family to yours, I wish you an absolutely blessed holidays, and I wish you a Merry Christmas from my 5 kids. Now, if you have 5 kids, you have a lot of presents under the tree. Let's just do a little check. Got a lot of presents under the tree if you have 5 kids, right? You're gonna buy a lot of presents for girls and boys, girls and boys, girls and boys. Now, what else did I want to show you? There was something else that I wanted to show my friends here. Also, super excited that my South African crew will be coming into town around about February. So all the South African boys that I grew up with, talking to 2 world title holders right there, Tulani Tolzembenge and Tabiso Mshuno. And you got New Zealanders in the picture, you got an Australian, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4 South Africans. They'll all be rolling in. And that was a City of Angels last fight against Usyk. You know that beast there? Not that beast, but that beast. You guys know him. Love that painting. And just love this picture. I think he's ranked number 4 in the world currently. This boy, he's tiny. So I'm excited to see my South African posse of boxers early next year. Can't wait to pick them up. Pick them up in the Escalade. So what else do we have? So I had a beautiful, beautiful day. Yesterday, whole day, massive waves, 5-foot waves. The boys had a great time. There's catching one of them on the waves. And that was about 30-40 minutes north. Spent 4 or 5 hours surfing, and the kids were wiped out. They were literally wiped out, tired. And then Tuesday, I picked this sucker up. Old American muscle car, 1970 Duster. So, how much? How much for what? Sorry, I didn't. How much for what? Merry Christmas. Moving to Tennessee for Christmas this year. Chicago must be cold if you say it sucks. Must be ice cold. Hopefully you have a good start in Tennessee. I wish you a great start in Tennessee. May all your dreams and plans work out for you in Tennessee. Timothy Graphis is in the house. I'll be happy when the money is in my account. Very true. 600 in your account, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And then you see that first $300 popping up each week, right? So if we go fast forward, if this gets finalized, those $300 payments start going out for 11 weeks, right? Almost 3 months, 1 week short of 3 months. Some point, a few weeks down the line, there'll be the $600 stimulus check. So you can literally start doing the math and counting on 11 times 300, 3,300, plus 600 stimulus check. You can count on $3,900 in the next 3 months. That's sort of what 6 months of negotiations took. 6 months. They've been at this. These characters here. Nancy, Moscow Mitch, Schumer. This guy's asleep half of the time. I mean, these three couldn't get shit done in 6 months. It took them 6 months to get this done. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. 100%, man. You know, when you're out there protecting large corporations, giving insane stimulus checks to businesses that don't really need it. I mean, some of these companies that they knew got money. There was some transportation company that Mitch McConnell knew. I think got like $70 million or $80 million. And it wasn't suffering. It was just a nice little present because, you know what, I have that position and I can get you that money. You know, we are expendable. So, folks, 11 weeks, you have a new president. My guess is they'll get working on another stimulus package right away. This COVID-19 thing is far from done. It's far from done. Julia Harp, have they come to an agreement on the stimulus yet? Yes, they have. So they are 3 hours ahead. They're literally 8 o'clock in the evening. This is breaking news. I wouldn't announce this if it wasn't solid information. If we go on to, there we go. There he is. Right, so it says the Hill leaders reach $900 billion COVID relief deal in breakthrough following partisan disputes and stalemate. So tomorrow, Senate has to sign off, and then it goes to the president. So that's headline news. Let's look at another one. Let's see if they have it as headline news, so we can make sure that this is solid information. There's another one. Breaking news. Finally, stimulus deal checks. Jobless aid states. Finally. Yeah, Eternal Methods is LOL. If your state doesn't screw up your unemployment for 4.5 months. I know. Nevada, Illinois, I mean, they sucked on getting the act together. Outdated computer systems. I mean, the people were literally, like you said, they were waiting for months and months and months. Remember that, Scott Tucker? And Internal Methods knows it as well. Waiting and waiting while some other states were paid right away. Other people had to wait and wait and wait. The clog of the stimulus was lawsuits against businesses and funding for states. Yep, and the defense contractors get the big money. Some still are in Nevada. It's crazy. Some are still waiting. All right, folks. I wish you a great Sunday night. I'll be back tomorrow, Our House Mondays. Good to meet some new people in the house. As you're going out, won't you do me a huge favor? Smash that like button. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. 33 out there. Let's get it up to at least 38, 40. Just by helping me out, clicking that little icon underneath. $300 per week Thank you. We're on 39. I appreciate you guys. Scott Tucker, thank you. And then we're talking another $600 stimulus check. So all set and done, you could be looking at about another $3,900 over the next 3 months. Julia, if that helps. We hit 40. I'm happy. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Hashtag hustle. Hashtag hustle. Go out there and hustle. Or stay indoors. Keep your family safe. And wishing you an amazing, amazing start of a new week, right? Countdown. Next Friday, Christmas. Christmas. Jingle bells all the way. Reindeer going to arrive. Even reindeer going through COVID time. Santa says, screw it. I'm still going to deliver all the presents. COVID's not even going to scare him off. On the way down from the North Pole, kids are waiting. They want their kids are stressed that the presents will not arrive because of COVID. It's like, hey, don't worry. Santa won't let you down. Santa will arrive. Santa will arrive. Jingle broke. Jingle bell, jingle broke, yes. Jingle broke, yes. Yeah, we need some more jingles in our wallets and purses. Show us some more jingle love. Show us some more jingly cash. All right, take care, everyone. Have a fantastic Sunday night, and we'll see you tomorrow, Monday. Stay safe. Disinfect those cars. Wear your masks. Protect your little ones. Get your Christmas shopping in. Last minute, Amazon, whatever you have to do, make sure you have all your presents under the tree and then no disappointed kids this Christmas. God bless you all. I appreciate you. Thank you so, so much.